morning. Good morning to day 294. Started chatting then before I didn't press the record button. Okay, a little bit later recording today. I think we're kicking on noon. The guys are up here, still doing the boxing. So fingers crossed we're going to be ready to start pouring that backside. I think the guys have actually been cracking on with pouring the front today, which is good. Stop plastering. Yeah, pouring. Here we are. Okay. Concrete arrived yet? Cement turned up yet? Jesus Christ. Carters, get your finger out. You never do morning deliveries. Anyway, we're running really, really low. So the guys at the moment are mixing, taking up in buckets, and then pouring obviously the parapet manually. So the front's done, the back's done. I'm assuming the side isn't nearly done. The side's still finishing off. So they're pouring that as it goes. Still got this little bit over here to do. So they're all up there doing that bit, which is good news. Sorry about the wind. Okay, the other thing we're looking at today is putting in an alarm system. So an alarm system, I brought a ring system over, one for the house and one for the annex to compensate another alarm system that I had put in by some form of monitored business here. I think G4 is the only one here. ADT is the company I use in the UK, but we do need to look at a monitored alarm system as well. But I want another alarm system that I can look at and I can monitor and I can manage at the same time. So the Ring doorbell stroke Ring alarm systems are pretty good. They're quite self-explanatory, they're quite simple. They're all self-powered, they're all wireless. So rather than having loads of cables everywhere and drilling holes and whatever else, they literally are a plug and play. So here what we'll do is we'll have the alarm box probably put around about here somewhere, along with one of the remote cameras. And then what we'll do is we'll drill through in the parapet and we'll actually have a solar unit put up there so that the unit itself is self-charging and also has backup batteries as well. That's going to happen, and inside there's all the equipment like the contact sensors, the IR sensors and stuff like that, which I'm going to show you in a second so you can actually see the whole unit. I might even do a separate video in fact. The guys obviously up here. Lauren, how are you?
Yeah, very done.
So the back boxing is nearly done as well, so they're going to crack on all the way around, and then we can plaster the rest of the walls up to where we should be, all in one lump rather than doing it in two. So that's the main focus today. I'm not too sure where the site manager is. When the mason's actually saying that. I think he might be on the ladder. So I've got the painter indoors with me doing some sanding and painting, as we love a bit of sand and paint. The other mason's up on the roof. Got mason downstairs, labourer upstairs, mason downstairs, labourer downstairs, and two carpenters upstairs, and then the painter in with me. The site manager is nowhere to be seen. I'm not too sure what he's up to. But anyway, we do have to get around to looking at the rear wall at some stage as well. I spoke to the neighbour briefly by WhatsApp this morning about what the options are going to be. He's had some people in there in an Airbnb, so I'm respectfully sort of staying away from that element whilst they're there, but apparently they're moving out, I think tomorrow, which gives us a week window to potentially tap into that and get that sorted. The aim is to uncap his wall, pour, put steel inside, pour concrete, and then potentially go up 2-3 courses of blocks to try and give him a bit more privacy and also some protection from any wind and rain and dirt dust. That's the aim. So I'm not too sure how many blocks I'm going to need, but I'm going to have to order those in. But he's got a bricklayer that did a lot of his masonry work on the building, and he's going to come around and have a look at it and give me a quote. So rather than my guys stopping and having to do that, it's something potentially, as long as the cost is right, I can get him to do. If his cost is too expensive, then I can get my guys to do it, obviously. But I still need to come up with some ideas about what I'm going to do to finish off the drain itself. Obviously, we put in as many blocks and bricks and stones that we could find to go into here, but now we've run out, and nowhere on the island sells them, which is, I find, very strange. I'll say nowhere, I haven't found anywhere. If anybody can suggest anywhere, let me know. But obviously what we're doing here is technically creating a French drain where water can tip into here and flood that way rather than building up and going over his wall. Obviously if we go up a couple of layers, then it's not going to happen anyway. So what we want to try and do is use some of this soil to go down the back return, because the other thing this is now creating is the water's got to get out, and obviously because I've allowed the well to be boxed in, as you can see it here, I've put the wall around the well so that he can use the well on his side. That's now created us a problem with the flow of water. So anyway, I mean really what we should be doing is having that go straight into the well. But obviously I'm sure he's going to want to keep the well that side to himself, which is completely understandable, but it does create me another set of issues to contend with. What else? I've got a man coming out to see me in a minute who is going to be looking at the staircases. We'll say staircase. So that's going to be interesting. The guys obviously are boxing up here today, so I think that it really is going to be a case of getting this completely boxed today. If they can get that done in one day, that's going to be an absolute result. If that's done, then great. I think the kitchen fitters have just arrived, I think. That would be bloody nice if they have, because they can come and start and finish the kitchens. It looks like it's them. So yeah, that'd be bloody good, because we can try and get the remaining parts of the kitchen sorted, get the kitchen tops in, and get the doors on into the laundry room. Then I can get the laundry room put all back as it should be, and everything's going to be good. Then it's just waiting on them to colour match the doors in the main kitchen and get that done as well. So, but yeah, I'll quickly show you the Ring doorbell. But also, what I'm going to do is I might do a separate video on the Ring doorbell, the Ring alarm system, because most people have never seen one, and to have a system where you're not having to run wires everywhere is certainly better than having wires everywhere, obviously. So I'll tap into that in a minute and I'll show you the videos. But other than that, I'll also show you the laundry kitchen that's obviously been put in so far. I showed you a little brief bit over the weekend, but they're going to be coming in, so they potentially finish that. So as and when the doors go on and everything starts looking good, then I'll show you what that looks like. Other than that, it's some snagging bits in the house. It's going to be filling little holes like here, painting, sanding down door frames. The door is actually the satin wood door, and the WC has now been installed and it looks good. And it's really just going around now and filling and sanding and touching up some of the parts that obviously have been damaged or not finished. So anyway, I haven't got a watch on, don't know what the time is, so I would say it's around about 11, half 11. I will check in with you in the next hour or so and update you as things go. Like and subscribe, give me some comments, and I'll talk to you later on. Okay, so one of the things that I've been doing today is trying to sort out some of the teething issues we still have on the bifolds. Teething issues meaning some of the screws have been missing, so I've been finding the screws, finding out which ones are which and trying to put them in where they're meant to be. Rubbers all around the tops and the bottoms have been out of the frame, not put in properly, so I've been going around just making sure they're all in, they're all flush. That's a teething issue on its own. This door is catching massively and I'm not too sure how to adjust it. It doesn't seem to be like most bifold doors, in as much as you normally have, they call it a bogey wheel. The bogey wheel in the middle, you normally have an adjustment on the top and you can turn it and it jacks the doors up and down. This one doesn't have that. It seems to have one potentially underneath that you can't access. It also seems the hinges themselves, so the door frame itself is in two pieces. You have the main piece that's drilled into the wall, then you've got this inner piece that is balanced to try and plumb the door frame. So I need to put a level on there because the gap up here is a lot smaller than it is down here. So either the door frame, either the frame itself, get my hand straight, either the frame itself was obviously slightly out and that's been adjusted to compensate, or it's off either way. So what I need to do is obviously heel it up. I need to try and get the bottom out, because what I'm getting at the moment is the door doesn't like to shut. And when I do shut it, it locks fine, no problem at all. But as soon as I open it, and open it to here, it hits, and then listen to this. Ooh. Goes from the whole body, that does. So obviously the outer aluminium flap on the front is catching on potentially the door runner, and it's popping over it. So the whole door's got to go up. When you analyse the very top of the door, you can actually see daylight through that side. So the whole door itself has got to go up. This particular panel here seems to be lower than these two panels, which doesn't help. But the door is definitely on a slant. So again, I didn't put these doors in, so I don't quite know what the issue is, but we have a big gap up here, but that's because there's a bit of rubber missing. But if I put that rubber in the left-hand side, I still think there'll be a gap there. So I need to work out whether we need to take the top out and the bottom out a little bit further. Because as you can see here, we have a gap of probably 10 mil. And when we get up to here, we've got virtually no gap at all. So it gets to a point where it nearly goes in and touches completely. So obviously what I can't afford to do is to take that out, because that means the door will drop further. I've got to try and get the doors up. So number one, these rubbers should be covering the gap, no problems at all, and they're clearly not. So that has definitely got to go up. So I've got to work out how I can adjust the doors up. I've also got, I mean, there is an adjustment in this side here as well, but it's not like the other door. So if I open it to show you what I mean, you have a hinge here, and a hinge here, and a hinge here. And as you can see, there's just 3 bolts. There's not a great deal you can do here. But in the middle of this one, you do actually have this bogey wheel I've mentioned. Bogey wheel meaning 2 wheels and a I suppose like a gutter adjuster that's, you know, this keeps it in track. These obviously allow the door to run. And normally you would have a bolt in here, so you'd be able to take this cap off and you'd be able to adjust that, and it will adjust the wheel up and down. These ones don't have it, but you can see that there seems to be one at the very bottom. But getting an Allen key to get up in there is near on impossible. So even if you can get one in there, you've got the front lip that stops. You know, you can't get anything in there. So I'm assuming, never assume, but I'm assuming that's where the adjustment is, which is a real pain in the arse. So I mean, obviously you can undo all the bolts and you can pull the doors up manually, which we shouldn't have to do. But it looks like we may have to do that. So as you can see, all of these seem to have been trimmed at some stage. I mean, what the hell's that all about? So I mean, number one, it's not even cut to length. So you know, they fit in easily, but it hasn't been trimmed straight, hasn't been trimmed at the right length. And that one just so happens to be lower as well, so it fits here, but up there it doesn't. So has this been moved at some stage and I just haven't seen it? Not too sure. Either way, I've got to get around it, so I've got to find a way of getting this panel up in the air, because this one's too low, and I've also got to get this one up in the air to stop it catching down here on the doorway. And at the moment I was hoping it was going to be just an adjustment here that would take both panels up. But as I said, when you get all 3 panels closed, the biggest issue at the moment is that they're not really catching, but you can feel it. It's definitely catching a little bit on this one. And you can see a gap at the top, so both of these doors definitely need to go up. The downside is the frame is close at the top, otherwise you could take the frame in, and the downside is out. So I'm a little bit lost. I mean, the only thing I can do, obviously, depending on how far this can go out, so I can take this one out another 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and take this one out 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. So I'm actually pushing the door further over, but then you're going to get to a point where, oh no, it'll be fine. Yeah, because this will move. So can I get to a point where that lands up being 1/2 inch? Well, it's not far off 1/2 inch now. And this one comes out a bit more. What I can't afford to do is take the top out and not the bottom, because it will make what the issue I have worse. The other thing obviously I've got to do is get the doors level. At the moment, this pane is lower than this pane, so I've got to get them level, and that might sort it out. So I might be able to sort these doors, I might be able to open the doors up, support them up in the air, and undo this one and jack this one up. If I can get this one undone and taken up, it may solve this problem with this door. You clearly can't see it from the inside, from inside, so outside, sorry. But inside you can definitely see it. So it might be undo the 3 hinges, hinge here, and hinge here, and take this, somehow jack this doorway up and reconnect it so it's now level. And if that's level, then at least this one will increase slightly. That's probably one of the best bets. Because there is no adjustment on this one. Yeah, there is no hinge. There's no bogey wheel, as they call it. In here, all you have is 3 hinges. Hinge here, and hinge here. And sometimes you have an adjustment underneath, but there's nothing there either. It's just flat and flat. All 3 hinges are flat. There's no adjustment on the hinges at all, as you can see underneath. It's just a flat pin. So what I might be able to do, obviously, is, but again, that one is that's the securing screw. So I'm not too sure. You might be able to undo these 6 and they might be just attached to a runner that pulls against inside this runner, because you'll have a U-channel sort of type runner in there, look. So maybe I'll be able to undo those 3 screws and jack this door up. And if I can jack this up and then tighten it, that might work. Food for thought. But either way, this has definitely got to go up. This door's got to go up to get level with this one. And then once I've done that, then there's 2 things. There's either trying to adjust the bogey wheel to get the other bit up to make sure that it clears, or it's adjusting this frame out, or even worst case scenario, undoing these 6 sides of the hinges and taking this one up as well, getting this whole one up, starting with this one going up, which will raise this one and this one. So I think that, again, they've all got hinges. So again, same thing, is it adjusting these 3 hinges here and trying to get this door up a little bit more so that, you know, it starts off. Either way, I've got to get this one level with this one, and this one might have to go up as well. So I think maybe if I can start with potentially taking this one up, getting it level, and then trying to find an Allen key that I can get to go underneath here and adjust this bogey wheel, as they call it. What a stupid place to put it. If you've got to adjust the door up, you need to do it once it's in place. So how the hell are you meant to get in there? There's no way of getting it from the front, there's no gap. And from the back, you've got this lip on, so, and this lip doesn't come off. This doesn't come off, so there's no way of getting to it. Unless you can find a very, very small, shallow Allen key. But obviously most Allen keys are the same. You do have, obviously, you get ones like this, which are longer and thinner, but I would assume it's a number 8. So number 8s normally look like that. So I need something shallower than this in a number 8. And it's got to be probably, I mean, I don't know how big that is, it's about 1 inch. That one needs to be about 1/2 inch. So it's gonna be bloody hard to find one that's 1/2 inch. Obviously I can find an 8 and trim it down. And there's nothing in the bags. I've looked in the bags, there's nothing in the bags anywhere. So you think that they would come with their own Allen key, but in an ideal world, I just need the window man to come back and finish it all off for me, so I don't have to get involved. But anyway, the top bogey wheel is different, but similar in as much as it does also have an adjustment up there and nothing down the bottom. But again, it's more of just a guide. They're not top hung. They're floor sat. So some doors are weighted on the bottom, and the support is up here, which is what this one is, and some are actually hung from the top, which means the adjustments at the top and downstairs is just a guide. But normally, because of the weight transfer, they're normally floor bound, but normally have, let's say, a cap here that you can adjust from above, which these ones clearly don't. Anyway, the other thing I did the other day, like I said, I drilled these holes in here, these drain holes. They weren't drained by the window fitter because he wasn't aware. I managed to get through to the manufacturer and they said you need to drill holes, 250 from one side and then 400 from there, 4 holes in total. So since I've done that, I don't seem to be getting any leaking coming in, which is good. So I've got to finish off. Again, I'm looking at the other doors, and the other doors don't seem to have that issue at the top with regards to. Oh, mind you, though, these ones have. I was about to say, you know, it looks like the rubbers are actually covering the top hinge on all the other doors, but they're not. That one's okay, and that one's okay, but this one and this one aren't. So I think what I'll do, I'll measure the hinges from the floor, from the bottom of the door to the first hinge, and do this one as well, and just find out whether the doors that are lower, whether the hinges have been set lower. That will give me an indication straight away whether I have an issue with where the hinges are. And if it is, then I'll have to adjust the hinges. If not, then it should be okay. Other than that, I'm looking at the hinges on the doors. I'm thinking, is there another way of getting to not even the inner hinge? Because the inner hinges on the front door is 4 at the bottom, a 3 in the middle, and then a 4 at the top, and no hinges shadowing on this side. Obviously, just 3, 3, 3 at the end. So you think there might be something on here, but there's nothing. Anyway, it's a teething bloody problem, but it's a teething problem I could do without because it's taking time, and at the moment I just need to get it done, and it's making a noise all the time that it carries on. On another note, kitchen fitter. He's come out and tried to install the drawers here, but unfortunately the drawers have been made too wide, so he's now got to go and retrim all of them, which is a pain. But what he has managed to do is bring in the doors that I've asked him to do and refit them again. They all need to be hung properly, but he's come in, fitted all the doors on. Obviously no handles at the moment, but a nice finish. We've gone flat white in here, same as what we're going to do in here, but they're flat white. So there's 2 and a bit cupboards. There's a small one in here, 2 here, plus the 4, and then there's a 2-piece underneath here. This will now slide underneath because I've fixed that in with a new pipe, but I'm just waiting to find out what I can do with this electric. It's apparently meant to drill a hole here and come up through this worktop, which is awful. But that's code, so I'll have to look at what we do, whether we do code or not. Obviously, I'm sure we will. And in here, obviously, we've got to get the doors balanced, door handles on. And in here, one thing he's going to have to do, unfortunately, is this was meant to be a cupboard for mops and brooms and whatever else, but he's put this shelf in too low, so he's going to have to cut this shelf out and put another one higher, so we can actually get some mops and hoovers and everything else in there. So I've got to think about the door handles. I've got to think about, he's got to obviously sort out the drawers, and then tomorrow when he comes back with the drawers to fit in here, I'll get him to rebalance everything in here to make sure it looks good, and get the kickboards on as well, because there's no kickboards. They've installed the kickboards here as well, so we've got kickboards on here all the way around that side. And as far as I know, they did this side too. No, they forgot that one. Or should I say didn't forget, they've probably cut them too high because they're not here, so I assume they've taken them away as well. So yeah, they've managed to get these ones in, although it looks like they're sticking out a bit at the bottom, but that looks okay, so they'll be good. And we've got to take these ones off and redo them, purely because I've cut them too high, and at the moment I've had to jack this up to get them in, so I need to take that out, cut it back, lower this unit back down, get that fitted back in again. And at the same time, they'll come and fit drawers here tomorrow. They did bring back a bit of wood where they've actually done another colour test, and it's still wrong. So I'm going to go to Coinman's in a minute to get some parts. I'm going to find as many colour cards as I can for grey, and see if I can get the most accurate colour to give to him, so that he can at least try on some different shades. I mean, I thought that's one thing that he would do in all fairness, and he might be doing it, but every time he comes, the colour is quite noticeably different. So that's what I've been doing in here. Also, we've been doing the cisterns and stuff like that, so quickly just bore you to death with this. So in the bathroom. So each one of these is being done as well, like we did in the other one, so we're going to get that put on. That's been filled and sanded and painted today, which looks 10 times better. So that's nice. We need to silicone around here, but other than that, this window's pretty much done in here. The other bedrooms and bathrooms, unfortunately, we're going to have to, they've got big gaps around them, so we're going to have to paint those and then silicone them, as you can see where the window packers are concerned. So we need to literally paint all of that and then get it blue taped and then get the silicone put in afterwards. We've also gone around and wood glued and compounded all the corners to try and get them as smooth as possible, so they look nice. Any form of patches have been filled. Again, this has been installed, has been caulked, but we're going to sandwood everything when it's all finished. The door in the bathroom has now been fitted, as you can see. It's on, and it's actually a nice finish. I don't know if you can see it in this light, but he sanded it and painted it a couple of times. It's come out very nice. And this has been finished off, so as you can see, that's what we want to do with the other ones. It's literally just putting the corner beads on, compound on, sanding it down, installing a bit of wood on the inside so we can actually put a toilet roll holder in here without pulling it apart, fit the door furniture afterwards, and then get a top. And then what we're going to do with the tops themselves, I'm making that of marine ply for now, but the kitchen guys are going to use the Corian and do some Corian tops for me. This, I think I might have duplicated it anyway, so sorry if I'm repeating myself. But this is the piece that was cut out of the hob. So we turned it into a cutting board. Nice big cutting board, which my wife loves. So yeah, other than that, the guys are outside getting on with the parapet. We ran out of concrete, keep saying concrete, cement. So we had another 50 ordered yesterday, which arrived about 40 minutes ago. So the guys are cracking on now. So we're trying to get to the point where we try and pour the whole parapet today. So The guys are all up there. Nearly done. You there, are you? So at the moment we've got the front done, we've got the side done, and now we're just going to do this rear part along here. So then that'll be the parapet done, and then tomorrow we can take the boxing off and we can get plastering all the way up the rest of it. We've left this off, one so that the Weldcrete can dry, and two so we can get the parapet done so we can go straight to the top. But unfortunately, they've carried on with the rest. So it does mean we're going to have a separate parapet plastered to the rest, which is a bit painful. Slight update in here, not there is a great deal of update. Obviously nothing's really happening in here because we're concentrating elsewhere, but we do need to get the actual the linear drain in here sorted out at some stage. So that's one thing we're close to doing, and I'm also going to get the guys, once they finish doing the boxing in there, I'm going to get them to box this as well. I'm thinking about taking it to here, so we'll come out maybe 2 inches here all the way along and take it up to the wall. It's going to look bloody ugly. But I really can't think of anything else to do, so we need to box that in. And like I said earlier on, the windows are on the water, so they're getting on the water today. It's going to take 2 weeks plus whatever it's going to take me to clear in customs. Could be 4 days, could be 4 weeks. So hopefully they're going to be here and I can start installing those. And one of the things that's going to be coming in that list, two things are going to be coming in that list, are the monstrous glass going in here. So we've got a 4 foot by 8 foot bit of glass going in here. So I can't wait to get that in, because every time that we actually take that out, when we get around to taking that out for any reason at all, the light that comes through is amazing. So spin it around so you can see it, apart from my mess in the way. It is a monstrous window, and that is coming as well, fingers crossed. So that is going to be one massive bit of glass that's going to go in there. So that really will change the dynamics of it. So that's one thing that's coming for here. And also the other 8 foot window for in here is coming as well. So yeah, it's I can't wait for them to turn up. I think that one's going to be quite difficult to get in. I think we're going to have to do a couple of edits because this is 8 foot dead. So we're going to have to probably chase out here in order to get that window sort of down and forward, and then have to repatch up again. But that's unfortunately the price you pay for trying to get things rushed without material being here. But yeah, I really am looking forward to getting that in, and once that's in, then also we can finish off here. So we'll probably end up taking the window back a bit and trying to bring the window in level with here, so we don't have to do so much making up around here. As you can see, we've left it out purposely, just purely because until the window turns up and we get it mounted, we're not going to know how to do that. Again, we're waiting for the locks to turn up for the door. The door, its width is huge, so the locks that we ordered unfortunately weren't wide enough, so we're waiting for those to come in. They should be here shortly. Again, we can't do anything on the wall itself all the way up to the top, the plasterboard. We can't do any of it until we get that all in, filled, sanded and painted. What else have we been doing? Yeah, if I take you to one of the main bathrooms, there's little pink slips everywhere, just stuff we need to do. As you can see, the one thing we do need to do is here. This still needs to be sanded, but this has gone slightly off, so we need to work out what we're going to do to straighten that. This has been put on really bad, so I'm going to redo that as well. And as you can see, this has now been pulled up, so this is all need to be released off, packed out properly, and then we can get that compounded and sealed in. This was going to be a doorway, but it's not now. It's actually going to be just a walk-through. The doorway here, you know, there's still lots to be done in there. But Sherman's in there at the moment doing some bits for me. So it's literally the windows. It's the toilet cistern, the walls in and around the shower area, the tiles as you walk in, looking at tile colour. I don't want tile colour, I want that all white. So he's filling that and painting the tiles. So when you walk in, it all looks white, and then the tiles start nicely flush. So yeah, they've got a lot to do. The other thing we're going to do as well, which I think I might have said, sorry if I am duplicating myself, but we've had an issue trying to source the extractor because of the height. I think I mentioned yesterday. So we are going to build a wooden framework to go up there that comes all the way down. So we'll measure 3 foot from here, plus the height of the extractor. We've got an extractor coming from England, which will probably be around about 6 to 8 inches wide. So we'll measure the 3 foot off from the hob. So you've got to be about 3 to 3.6 feet away from the hob. And then the beginning of that, obviously the hob width, and then anything from there to the ceiling will be a box that we'll make, and we'll plasterboard it, we'll insulate it, we'll mount it into the ceiling, and then we're going to go with the grey, which I think I mentioned yesterday. Sorry, I'm getting old. So yeah, we're going to paint that grey. Then when the extractor comes, we'll mount it from the bottom, we'll connect it all up, and we might even put an extra separate extractor in here. They call it an inline, so it was an incoming call. Yeah, in here we actually we'll box it in here. We put a separate inline extractor in there, because at the moment this has got a big run. It's going to go. You're going to be talking about 8 foot to here, and then you're talking about another 20 foot to get outside. So the home extractors have only got small fans. It's not going to be enough to push anything we want up and out. So we may very well connect an inline extractor up there, power it up, and then come down and actually have the extractor itself doing it as well. So that will just be to make sure that it becomes effective. So whether I can source those on the island is a different matter. In England, it's quite straightforward. They're all over the place. So yeah, separate inline with a low noise and a bit of gumph. That's what we're looking for. Other than that, I think obviously the guys are out there doing their stuff. So fingers crossed. They've got the concrete now. They're cracking on. We can try and get the kitchen guys in here tomorrow and get that finished off as well. It'd be nice to try and get that done, get that balanced up, get the sink and everything installed. Sorry, the sink's installed, the tap, the extractor, get all the water connected up, and also, more importantly, get them to come in and get this finished off. The downside is until we get the colour match for these and these, we're not getting doors in here anytime soon, that's for sure. But what I'd like to do is be in a situation where all of the kitchen is finished other than those doors. So we get the wardrobe, get the drawers put in, get the end caps taken off and cut to length, all the skirting board put on, and be in a situation where we're just waiting for the colour. That's really what I'd like to do in there. And with regards to the laundry room, getting the obviously the doors themselves adjusted, get the handles on, get the slow close hinges put in, because at the moment there doesn't seem to be any slow close. Oh yeah, no, that's slow close, that's good. Well, it's just a couple, maybe got missing hinges. No, that's certainly not. So it looks like they're all slow close, that's good. So it's just handles. And then we can get the washer put back, the tumble dryer's en route, tap in, waste in, connections up. And then that is done. We can start getting all the stuff back in there, because that stuff at the moment is scattered around the house. So our little storage room has actually got all that in there at the moment. So I'm going to nip off in a minute to Coinman's to get the bits like I said. Whilst I'm there, I'll get the colour charts for the doors. I also need to nip over to Wildy to get the trial plastic for the shower wall, because that's been made. It's just waiting to be picked up, so I can go and get that as well. Other than that, I think that's what we are set for now. So still got a few more hours left of the day, so I'll update you as and when we go. Thank you. Okay, so we're 4:10. Quick update up on the roof. Can't say up on the roof without going up on the roof. Okay, so I managed to get the parapet completely concreted. So we're all the way around, and in most of it, if not all of it, we've got the outer board, and we've also got an inner plasterboard as well. So didn't really want to waste my plasterboard, but the thought of having to chisel or hilty any more concrete off of this goddamn building. So fingers crossed, what should happen tomorrow, we should better take all the boxing off, remove the actual plasterboard, and we should have at least 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of space all the way around. Hopefully here what I asked them to do is to drill in, put some rebar into there and connect that in. So hopefully they did that in that corner. Did you drill and rebar these ones here, yeah? Did you drill the rebar into here?
Yeah.
Excellent. Good. So we've still got to trim those and do those. Concrete's going on, not it's white now. It is taking some time, but it's getting whiter. And we've obviously got to find a finish to put on here as well. So, but anyway, so we'll take that off tomorrow. Reveal the finish. Hopefully the finish will be good, and then we can plaster all the way up the building across the parapet, and then we can also create the wipeout all the way along here and all the way around here as well, because the wipeout's really important to ensure that obviously the house and the garage are sealed and we don't have any water coming in through into the hallway. So anyway, that's good. So we've also got a nice run on it as well. It's a little bit more aggressive here than I thought it was going to be. So the water lands on the top and runs onto the roof. What we don't want to do is obviously have water landing and rolling forwards. It's a little bit more straighter here, so I think we might have a little bit of an issue here. But yeah, they should have gone to the top of the boxing here, which they haven't, so that might have a little bit of an issue there. It's still wet. Yeah, it is. We should have maybe made that a little bit more graded. So we might have a little bit of an issue here. But other than that, everywhere else It leans as it should lean. Asian bottle. Anyway, we're going to plaster it anyway, so the plaster itself will obviously take care of anything that's not quite as it needs to be anyway, so that's all cool. Right, let's get down, and that is it for today. I'm pretty sure there's no real changes that are going to take place today. My wife turned up for something to eat, and she called it date night, so I need to get changed and get racing back. Taxi just come up saying, are you en route? No. I am aiming to get downstairs and start getting changed and leave. So have a great day. Please like and subscribe. Please give me some beautiful comments. Be critical if you wish. I have no issue with that. And I will check in tomorrow, and hopefully we can get the plastering of the garage complete. Take care.